Well, New Zealand, look how far we've come. After 2 years of COVID restrictions that have driven divisions into society through keeping families apart overseas, keeping families apart internally, interfering in funerals, weddings, events, and schools, we are, as of 11:50 p.m. tonight on 23rd of January 2022, heading into more restrictions. Omicron has finally arrived at our door, as we inevitably knew that it would. And rather than take heed and monitor closely the experiences of other countries overseas who have seen this highly infectious variant sweep through their populations in double quick time without any real increase in hospitalizations or death, proving itself as initially thought by the scientists in South Africa as mild, we go the opposite. We move into the red light setting of our traffic light system that was put in place to incorporate the vaccine pass system into New Zealand society, where everyone has further restrictions, mainly unvaxxed, sure. But does that make any more sense? I personally don't think so. Why is this Labour government so intent on trying to stamp out the unstampable? On trying to stop the spread or slow the spread of something that's important? You can't do that. You just can't do that with a virus. We've learnt that now. We've had 2 years to figure this out. But that's only the beginning, or where my questions lie. What about the hundreds of thousands of Kiwis overseas? Nothing is being done. There's no real challenge from opposition around this. Sure, they're talking the talk about scrapping MIQ, but what is actually being done? MIQ is a travesty and a black mark on New Zealand's history. Grounded Kiwis in the past week were dealt a double blow, where their High Court case that they are bringing against the government was delayed. The hearing was set down for February, and it has since been delayed by, yep, you guessed it, our Labour government. They've made the claim that they need more time to look at new information. But what new information? The facts are clear. These Kiwis, our citizens, are locked out of their own country, stateless. They've been kept apart during times of sadness, times of grieving, times of union with weddings, times of ill health. This Labour government has reached and overreached its hand deep down into New Zealand society and touched the family. It's a sad thing for me to say as a 40-year-old man in Christchurch, in New Zealand, but it's true. Their hands are across our families. Think of the mental anguish of these people, locked out of their own country. For what? Every other country is moving on, but New Zealand cannot. Further to this, the slither of hope that these Kiwis had with the MIQ system and the lottery chance that they may get in here, unless, of course, you're a high-profile DJ or an international superstar pop star, that release was postponed indefinitely. So now there's no hope. Now they really can't get back. But that is just the beginning. In response to Omicron, a mild infectious disease with a dangerously high rate of survival. What else does the red light traffic setting do for New Zealand society? Well, masks are now going to be compulsory, at least it says on the guidelines, for children ages or years 4 and up. Why? Do we not take into account any of the devastating social impact that having a young 8, 9 or 10-year-old child wearing masks all day will have on them? Do we even know? Does this government even care? Also, keeping in mind how little risk there is to our children with this virus, and especially with Omicron. It's proven. Don't take it from me. Go and find out the information for yourself, but just be aware that you may be deemed an anti-vaxxer or a nut job or a conspiracy theorist. Hospitality business will be dealt further blows. Regardless of whether you run the vaccine pass system or not, you've got restrictions now. From tomorrow, only 100 people. Or if you don't, you can't run at all. In the past 12 months, more New Zealand businesses have ended or shut than have opened. And this is the first time that has occurred in decades. And yet here we are, the Labour government doing its best to try and have more closed. The risk-benefit scenario has long since passed. When this is all said and done, and by all accounts, based on overseas, Omicron will be rushed through our society quickly, the peak will come, and it'll die off also quickly. Will restrictions go then? Will we finally let go of this COVID hysteria? Will the Labour government does it want to return back to normal? We will look back on this time and think, what were we doing? Will those be held to account? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but I like to think so. The societal damage will be around us for years to come, and the economic damage is still yet to peak. People will refer to unemployment being so low, but that is literally the only measure that you can point to that's positive. Inflation is at record highs. Emergency services are under pressure with job losses due to COVID precautions, including mandated vaccination, as well as other areas of our public service. It's also sad to me, and the announcement from the podium of truth this afternoon really just drove it home to me. Look how far we've come, New Zealand. Look how far we have come. Wake up. Now is the time to wake up. Thank you.